Full time in Clonus, and it's Derry 116, Donegal 114. Derry have won their first Ulster senior football title in 24 years. It's an incredible achievement for the Oakleaf County. It's an incredible achievement for Derry. It's certainly one that has gone to live long in the memory for Derry fans. I mean, they're going to remember this for such a long time to come. And look, obviously doing the live watch along stream with John McMahon there of the JMAC podcast. So shout out to anyone who tuned into that live stream. But look, I mean, I've seen online, interesting enough, I've seen on Twitter a lot of people complaining about the quality of this game and maybe saying it wasn't a great game and, you know, maybe it wasn't the best spectacle in the world. But look, it's Ulster football. It was always kind of going to be this type of game, really. You know, two teams that do have a lot of defensive structure obviously built into them in Rory Gallagher and Derry, Declan Bonner and Donegal. Both like to play the running game. Derry more so, you know, like to break with a lot more pace, I suppose, than Donegal, whereas Donegal like to keep a lot more possession and try and sort of work through the lines. But for Derry, it's just a massive, massive moment. And it's a massive moment for Gaelic football as well, in my opinion. A huge, huge moment because, you know, over the last 10, 15 years, we've really just had the same teams year in, year out win the provincial championships. You know, obviously you had Cavan in 2020, Tipperary in 2020. Those felt like a massive anomaly, really. But this is a huge moment because we need more teams. We need more teams to be competitive because it makes it a better championship. And, you know, I think all of a sudden now going into those All-Ireland quarterfinals and teams coming through qualifiers and all the rest, you know, I think we're going to have very good quarterfinals this year. And there was a stage really around 2017, 2018 and 2019 where the quarterfinals were very, very one-sided, Super 8s or whatever way you want to call them. You know, a lot of those games were very, very one-sided. A lot of them were a formality as well. So it's just great to have, you know, competitive games. And for me, although, yes, this wasn't, you know, the swashbuckling football that you'd see from Dublin and Kerry, maybe it didn't have the same scoring excitement as Galway and Roscommon did earlier in the day, but it was just two sides. It was like a chess match, both of them trying to figure each other out, both of them waiting for the right opportunity, both of them waiting for the right time to get forward. And I thought it was very, very intriguing. And massive credit to Derry, first of all, because, you know, when they went 2 points down in the second half at one stage, you did wonder, did they have it within themselves to turn it around? And it was a point that me and John were making during the stream, is that, you know, Derry have never been in this position too many times, maybe not ever. You know, none of these players have anyway, you know, because Derry, I think, only won one in like the last 10 years in the championship before this year. You know, they've never been in an Ulster final, you know, since obviously 2011 when they played Donegal. A lot of these players haven't played in Ulster final, almost all of them. So huge occasion, you know, how are they going to react to that? How are they going to react to the pressure? How are they going to react to, you know, being on the brink of doing something special for your county, you know, something that doesn't happen too often? You know, when is this opportunity going to come again? You just don't know, you know, and you could see the nerves were there. Certainly a lot of both sides didn't want to take that big opportunity, take enough of a risk because you were afraid of maybe missing the opportunity. But it was Derry who stood up. It was Derry who got over the line in the end, who took the lead in extra time. Brendan Rodgers, what a performance, you know, top class fullback for this Derry side, 3 points in the game. But not only that, his support play as well. He obviously sets up Conor Glass for that late point as well. And you could see really towards the end of the game with obviously Michael Murphy, who was picking him up, or, you know, you think he'd be picking up Michael Murphy, but it really did work out the other way around. Murphy just couldn't keep up with him, with the fact that Murphy's legs were tiring, and Rodgers had that extra spring in his step. And it was just so crucial going down the home stretch, those 2 points. And Noel Loughlin was outstanding in the first half, 1-2. Obviously gets the opening goal. First 10 minutes, both sides just really feeling each other out. Nothing really happening too much in the game. But Noel Loughlin gets that goal, and it definitely did spark the game to life. 1-2 from him, obviously, before he goes off in the... I wonder if that was an injury, by the way, because it was interesting to see him go off when he was probably one of Derry's better players. But Shane McGuigan outstanding with 6 points. Shay Downey, Paul Cassidy all getting on the score sheet. Conor Glass with the last kick of the game, or last score of the game from a Derry perspective. Conor Doherty with a point as well. Very good, impressive performance from him. Emma Bradley coming off the score sheet as well. For Donegal, look, I mean, they showed a lot of willpower to, you know, fight back in the second half. 3 points down. at halftime. You were thinking, could this end up being a bit like the Monaghan and Tyrone game for Derry, where they pull away and show that sort of extra energy and maybe the other team can't keep up with them. But fair play. Look, Donegal, they stuck in the game. They turned it around. They got themselves that goal from Oren McFadden, I think it was, after Langan's shot was spilled by Oren Lynch. But this is what happens, and Donegal done well to get themselves back into it. But they just couldn't. I don't know what it was. It was one of these games where it could have went either way. You know, it really could have. It just really could have went either way. It was so close going down the home stretch, and Derry maybe just had that little bit more hunger maybe within themselves with the fact that they haven't won an Ulster title in 24 years. But look, Donegal will certainly be the team you don't want to get in the qualifiers. No question about that. They're the one side that, you know, whoever comes through the qualifiers next week, you don't want to be facing Donegal. And Donegal do get a lot of criticism sometimes from myself as well. You know, they're a weird team. They're a hard team to figure out. I think they have a lot of quality, a lot of great players in Michael Murphy, who kicked 2 brilliant points in the game. Paddy McBrearty was decent with 2 points as well, although, you know, largely had a relatively quiet game as opposed to when he played Derry last year. Jason McGee with 2 points in there as well. Kieran Thompson came off the bench, but it just wasn't quite. Yeah, they just couldn't quite get over the line, and that's the problem with this Donegal side, is too many times in big games and big moments they just haven't quite got over the line, and that's been a big theme of the Declan Bonner era, is that for as good as the players that they have, for as close as they get, they just can't quite seem to deliver. And look, it wouldn't surprise me if they get to an All-Ireland quarter-final. I think with a decent draw, they'll be in there. You know, and they're certainly a team you don't want to play because they're a side that are hard to beat. They're a hard team to beat. They just are. And you don't want to be playing them in a quarter-final. But at the same time, I'd be surprised to see Donegal get beyond the quarterfinals. You know, if they end up playing Derry again, you'd fancy Derry, wouldn't you? You'd fancy Dublin and Kerry. Galway might fancy themselves against them as well. So it's going to be very, very tough for them. No question about that. But from a Derry perspective, look, I think I said it before in, you know, when they beat Monaghan, and I've said it before in other podcasts, all the rest. I think Derry are serious All-Ireland contenders, and this reaffirms that now, in my opinion. It really, really does. I think Dublin, Kerry, and Derry are the top 3 in the country right now. I think Kerry are still number 1. I think Dublin are 2, and I think Derry are 3. And I think that's the order you'd have to have them in at this moment in time. Still don't think Mayo and Tyrone are too far away. I fancy them to come through the qualifiers and get to potentially a semi. Well, again, it depends who they face, isn't it, in the quarterfinals? But it's just going to be very, very intriguing indeed. And you know, the energy of Rory Gallagher, the energy of the players, the way they break forward at pace as well, and the fact that they've overcame this adversity as well, because that was always going to be the big talking point, was when the going got tough, how would they respond? Because they haven't had that too much in the last couple of years, and it's not their fault. They just haven't played too many of these teams. And what's even more incredible is they've beaten Monaghan, Tyrone, and Donegal to win this Ulster Championship. Like, that is not an easy way to win an Ulster title. That's the hardest way possible to win an Ulster title. It's incredible, really. It really, really is. Absolutely. Johnny Bravo says a dramatic ending, and Patrick says, I can't see Derry even contending, to be honest. Need to evolve their game. So interesting take there from Patrick. He says, but I respect what Gallagher has done. Drew a Leitrim a few years ago, and he's changed their mindset. He really, really has. Look, Derry were a Division 4 side back in 2019. You know, and the fact that he's taken over this side in 2020 and got them all the way to this point is incredible. And you know, I do think they're going to compete. Look, playing in Croke Park, much bigger pitch, it'll be tough for them. It will be tough for them. And, you know, I don't think they will win the All-Ireland, you know, but I think they'll come very close. And I think a semi-final or a final, I think, is a realistic ambition for this side. I really do think so, because, you know, look, you see the quarter-final draw. Like, you know, who knows who they could end up getting there. It's a real possibility. It really is. And then after that, being on the side of the draw away from Dublin and Kerry, it's just a realistic possibility. And I think you've seen Rory Gallagher in his interview at full time, Brendan Rodgers as well. They're fully set now on something special. And, people had Tyrone as All-Ireland contenders. People at Donegal is up there. Monaghan are up there. Well, Derry have just beaten all three of them. So they have to be in the conversation, in my opinion. They really, really do. So, huge win. Brendan Rodgers, man of the match, definitely. Niall Loughlin, I thought, had a very, very good game indeed. Shane McGuigan was very good. McKinless, very good. Chrissy McKaig had a very good game. I thought Michael Murphy was impressive for Donegal. But it just wasn't meant to be from a Donegal perspective. And unfortunately for them, it's becoming a habit of losing these type of big games. And it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if Donegal don't get past the quarterfinal. I'm not sure if they keep Declan Bonner. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear what Donegal fans think in the comments down below. Maybe the question is, who do you replace him with? I don't know who you replace him with, to be honest. There doesn't seem to be an ideal candidate. Does Jim McGuinness come back? Probably not. So, what a story that would be, by the way, if Jim McGuinness did come back. Gallagher against McGuinness. It's one certainly to be excited for if it was to happen at some point. But yeah, we'll obviously have to wait and see. But yeah, massive congratulations to Derry. A huge, huge victory for the county. Congratulations to all Derry fans, Oakleaf supporters, all the rest. Cherish these moments because they don't come around too often. First Ulster title in 24 years. And certainly now, Derry have to be considered as serious, serious contenders because, look, even as a Dublin fan, they're a team I don't want us to play because I think they're going to be a very, very tough opposition. Look, them in Croke Park, that's something they will need to get used to because they haven't played there since 2019 in the Division 4 final. So that will be, that'll be different for them, most certainly. But look, they've come through this adversity. They've come through the Ulster Championship. So you have to put them in the mix. But cheers to anyone who tuned in. If you could hit the like button and subscribe. If you haven't, much appreciated. Plenty of podcasts, interviews, and all the rest to come soon. Podcast coming tomorrow to review all the action in detail. So stay tuned for that. And my name's Aaron, and I will see you all soon.